Hi everybody, it's Sherry Rosenthal here with another tasty morsel. I had somebody write in recently and I'd like to read their statement to you. It goes like this. Dear Sherry, I don't think anyone should travel in Mexico, and I think you're being irresponsible for encouraging them to do so. At the very least, tourism supports a corrupt government, and at the worst, it endangers people's lives. Okay, this is a really interesting email. The reason it's interesting is for the following reasons. I mean, obviously, everyone is entitled to their point of view. That isn't the issue here. The thing is this, when we're on a spiritual path, it's really important to be impeccable with the word, because the way we use our word creates our reality in this life. So when we speak, we want to make sure that what we're sharing is as close to the what is as possible. Because when we share our point of view and opinion, what we're really saying about ourselves is how close to the truth we are, or how far away from truth we are. So we're letting people see the level of consciousness we're functioning from. Or we could say the level of love or the level of fear that we're operating from. So for me, this is a very fearful email. So let's look at a few things in this email. First of all, the fact that tourism supports a corrupt government and at the worst endangers people's lives. Living and breathing endangers people's lives. You could walk out your door and be hit by a truck tomorrow. That's the what is. Now, you can say that to be responsible, you should remove all things that could possibly harm you. But even staying in your own house, you could slip on the tile, hit your head on the floor, have an internal bleed, and die. So, what is safe in the world? The idea is to get out there, live boldly, love boldly, and enjoy yourself. I'm not saying to do things that are obviously going against common sense. I'm saying, in general, going outside, living and breathing is a dangerous thing. Okay, it doesn't matter where you live. I grew up in New York City. During the time I did my residency, I was attacked on the New York City subway. In my home. I didn't have to go anywhere. Do you see what I'm saying? So, being in harm's way can be any place. Not necessarily in Mexico or anywhere else. You could travel anywhere and anything can happen. So this is the risk we take in living. So this statement here is not reflecting the what is. The other thing is that tourism to Mexico supports a corrupt government. I wish someone out there would please tell me what government is not corrupt, because I think the American government could also qualify as being corrupt in many ways. There are bad apples in every barrel. And even in my own profession of medicine in the past, there were very wonderful doctors, and then there were not so wonderful doctors. Corruption exists wherever humanity is. So this doesn't make any sense, right? Doesn't make any sense. The next thing here, saying that no one should travel to Mexico, okay, you can share an opinion. But again, it's not backed up with anything here. The saying that the government is corrupt, like I said, we could say the United States is corrupt. It doesn't really make sense. If we want, we could go on the travel.state.gov website, and it lists all of the places that the U.S. government feels it is not incredibly safe to go, or at least they will give a qualifier about that place. So if you look at what it says on the website, it says millions of U.S. citizens safely visit Mexico each year, including more than 150,000 who cross the border every day for study, tourism, and business. At least 1 million U.S. citizens live in Mexico. The Mexican government makes a considerable effort to protect U.S. citizens and other visitors to major tourist destinations. Resort areas and tourist destinations in Mexico generally do not see the levels of drug-related violence and crime reported in the border region and in regions along major trafficking routes. Okay, we don't run tours to drug-ridden areas. I think if we look at the Journeys of the Spirit website, we can see that we're going to very calm, beautiful tourist areas. So if the person who wrote this email to me went on the government's own website and educated herself, she would have the information to come up with an opinion that was more close to the what is. Again, we're entitled to our beliefs, but we have to understand that a belief is a confidence in the truth or existence of something not immediately susceptible to rigorous proof. And we always have to be careful about expressing our beliefs when we haven't got anything to back them up. I mean, it just doesn't make us look like we're coming from a good place. I don't know how else to say that. So I'm just saying it's important before we open our mouth and use our word to be impeccable and to think about what we're saying, why we're saying it, what is behind what we're saying. Have we explored what we're saying? Are we just coming from fear? Are we just talking for the sake of talking? All of these things are important. Even here, when she says that, I think you're being irresponsible for encouraging them to do so. Irresponsible is a judgment. And again, we can have a belief, but to judge somebody else based on your belief system, that's actually irresponsible, because we're not using our word in the way that we really need to use our word, in the most uplifting way. I don't feel that I'm irresponsible. We could say that removing that word and saying, I'm concerned about the level of violence in Mexico based on this report that I've read, that would be a very nice way of expressing a perspective. But to say that I'm irresponsible based on someone else's belief system with nothing there, that's judgment. For example, we could say, if I let my 2-year-old child climb out the window, that would be something that could create a bad outcome, like death of the baby. So that would not be a very good action to take. You could judge it as irresponsible or not, but it's not the point, the judgment that you put on it. The point is that it's an action that has a reaction. Do I want the child to plummet down how many flights out the window? No, then I don't take that action. So, if this woman is concerned about danger in Mexico, then the thing is to look at the action and see, if we travel to this place, what is the possible reaction? And speak from that place, the place of the what is, not from judgment and not from opinion and points of view. So this was really a great lesson in impeccability of the word, in learning to be as close to the what is as possible, and to be able to look at ourselves and ask, are we coming from fear? Or are we coming from love? Are we coming from common sense? That is what we need more of, I think, in this world, and that's my opinion. More common sense would be helpful because it helps direct us in a better way. We don't have to be judgmental. We could just look and see and research and explore and be more open rather than being so close-minded. So I'm very curious as to what you think about what I shared today. Please post on the website and let me know what you think. What is your idea? I really appreciate you. Always appreciate you listening. Thank you. And I love you. Take care.